Tynecastle with the kickoff delayed fully 10 minutes to allow the crowds to come in. There's a huge crowd inside the stadium and still many more waiting outside. So Hearts starting the match on very familiar lines, although unlike last week, Alec MacDonald is in the Hearts team from the start. There he is, the Hearts player manager. Aberdeen, on the other hand, have left out John Hewitt from their midweek European squad, but Gordon Strachan is playing in his customary position on the right side of midfield. Doug Rookby's also back in the side. The referee this afternoon, Mr. William McLeish from Stonehouse, just back from a European tie in Zurich on Wednesday night when he ran the line to Brian McGinley in the Zurich Grasshoppers against Dynamo Minsk. Rookby plays it wide. Here's Mark McGee. Stark appearing from the right side of midfield. Picked up by Stuart McLaren. That's from MacDonald. Trying now to exploit the pace of John Robertson. Willie Miller's there first. Not young Robertson doing enough to force the Aberdeen skipper to concede the first corner kick of the match. Aberdeen in a change strip of white tops and black shorts. Tony MacDonald going into the penalty area for Hearts. Robertson with the kick. Then swinging towards MacDonald, he got to it, and it's off the line by Billy Stark. Well, Roddy MacDonald showing his menace in the air early on. In swinging corner kick, MacDonald above everyone, later was beaten, and it took Billy Stark to clear it off the line. Too many options available to McMaster at the back there, with the marking in the part of the Hibs midfield players very tight indeed. Here's Rugby. McGee making the wide run, followed across by Roddy MacDonald. MacDonald showing that he's no mug on the ground. He's certainly well known for his ability in the air. Cowie stealing it for Alec MacDonald. By Cooper for Stark. Strachan's on the right. Weir's coming into the box. Walter Kidd is there marking Weir as McMaster. That was a very important block by Walter Kidd. McMaster coming through, hitting that with lots of power. So Aberdeen hitting back. He's commanding header. Cowie will reach it first. Cutting off the route to Smith. That's given away. Here's Simpson. And that was a great effort from Neil Simpson. Would have been a superb goal. Cashing in on the error. Deep on the left side of the defence. George Cowie had the road to Henry Smith cut off by Mark McGee. Tried a dangerous pass inside, cut off by Simpson. That first time chip shot almost gave Aberdeen the lead. Looking for Weir. Kidd doing well for Hearts. Here's Bowman. All very tight. Very tough challenge there involving Bowman and Simpson. Free kick goes to Aberdeen. Referee McLeish keeping a very tight grip on the proceedings. And after that opening burst from Hearts, the impression is developing that Aberdeen have got to grips with the match. Well, that was clumsy in the extreme by Mark McGee. And the decision is a throw to Hearts, or to Aberdeen rather. Hearts supporters and players unhappy about that. Here's Simpson. Cooper available again. Henry Jefferson. With a win to assist, that's well worth the effort from that range. Cooper just about a yard wide. Bounce beating Park. McGee looking for support from the back. John McMaster. Rugby free in the right once again. Hearts persisting with the 4-4-2 formation. Rugby plays it in to McGee. Turning for the shot, and it's well taken by Smith. Weir would certainly have scored if Smith had missed it. McGee causing trouble for the Hearts defence. Here's Neil Cooper, forcing his way beyond Walter Kidd. Weir is offside. Pushing by McLeish and Bone, the Hearts free kick. Bone taking it quickly to Robertson. Well, the youngster doesn't need too long to look at goal before he lets fly. Fine effort. Now Strachan. Boos and whistles all around the stadium for the Hearts supporters, and that really is the ultimate accolade for an opposing forward. Just kept it in for McMaster, just beyond Strachan. Neil Cooper. Here's Rugby. He's had a lot of the ball on the right flank for Aberdeen, the first quarter of the match. Here's McGee. Now Billy Stark going up with Henry Smith. Smith's in trouble. Here's Strachan. Screening the ball away from Alec MacDonald. That's for McGee, he's onside. Great chance for Aberdeen. And Peter Weir makes it 1-0. Marvellous goal from Aberdeen. 27 minutes on the clock. It's Weir's first of the season, and it was splendidly contrived. A typical Aberdeen goal, created initially by Gordon Strachan. Now look at the skill at the edge of the box as he controls the ball, holds off the challenge from Alec MacDonald, takes the ball wide. The disguised pass to McGee, driven cross, and there was Peter Weir. Careless one from Cooper. This is Jimmy Bone with MacDonald coming up for the first time. Shot. Great effort from Alec MacDonald. Well, we've seen him do that many times indeed over the last 15 years. With a mistake from Neil Cooper, Jimmy Bone set up the chance, and there was lots of power in that left foot shot. Good leap by Simpson. Here's Strachan. It's asking a lot of Mark McGee, but he's got plenty of pace. He's got to it in front of Jordan. Now Aberdeen getting men forward. Still McGee trying to pick out the cross. There's Peter Weir. And the angle eventually much too tight for the shot. McGee again showing his value to Aberdeen with that long surging run to a deep position, and then showing lots of control. Jarton's clearance, McLeish under it. Here's Park. Now Bowman. Cowie helping it wide to Alec MacDonald. Turned it out under pressure from McLaren. So Hearts in the throw. And it's being left to Alec MacDonald. There's Robertson. Stark collects it. Cowie back to Roddy MacDonald. Cowie again. Inside to Robertson, lining up the shot. Great save from Leighton. Well, John Robertson hasn't had too many chances in front of goal this afternoon, and that was a great piece of finishing. Turning in the ball, spinning on it, onto his right foot, and that's a great save from Jim Leighton. So Platt with the corner. Cooper, an intelligent header wide, but Donald sends it back in, and once again powerful figure of Neil Cooper's in the way, and the Hearts supporters getting behind their favourite for this last push of the first half. Here's John Robertson. Leighton's in trouble. Here's Walter Kidd. Well, Hearts finishing the first half with a bang. And once again Roddy MacDonald posing problems in the air for Jim Leighton. That's what set up the chance eventually for Walter Kidd. Half-time whistle goes, the end of 45 marvellous minutes. Hectic action. If you like your football, red-blooded quality, Tynecastle's the place to be. Hearts in the initiative in the first 10 minutes or so, then Aberdeen took control and they went ahead through Peter Weir with a magnificent goal created by Gordon Strachan initially at the edge of the box, then by Mark McGee, finished off by Peter Weir, and that's the goal which separates the sides in half-time. But a marvellous 45. Back to Tynecastle as Aberdeen start the second half, leading by 1-0. The goal scored by Peter Weir in 27 minutes. And Aberdeen trailing Hearts in the league by 3 points at this stage. Clearly required to have a victory to close that gap on not only Hearts but Dundee United and Celtic. And there were signs in that first half that they were certainly capable of doing it. They coped with the frenzied Hearts early attacks very well, and then asserted themselves as the half wore on, and Gordon Strachan became more involved as he was there. Leash winning the high ball. Oh, McLaren coming in very late, and McLaren unquestionably will now be booked. The victim was Neil Simpson, and no doubt at all about it, McLaren was very late with the challenge on Simpson. Blatant body check after the ball had gone. And I really can't understand why Stuart McLaren's protesting. He's been guilty of persistent infringement of the rules. He was involved in that incident with Willie Miller in the first half. So Willie McLeish, the referee from Stonehouse, booking the Hearts man from Lark Hall, Stuart McLaren. Kick quickly taken by Cooper. An awkward bounce of the ball for Walter Kidd, giving Aberdeen the corner. Alec McLeish going into the box with Duke Rugby. Weir's corner. Great leap, and the chance for Billy Stark was absolutely clear-cut. Well, that prodigious leap from Mark McGee at the near post beat Henry Smith, got the vital touch on, and how did Billy Stark miss? Good jump from Bone, but Master clears it. This ball collected by Strachan, Cooper takes over. Simpson to McMaster. Strachan wants it back on the right. Well, the dummy was intended for Rugby, but McDonald read it. There's the chance for John Robertson. Terrific effort on the run. McDonald set up the chance. Robertson at full tilt took it first time with the head. Lots of power, but not well enough directed. And things now hotting up in midfield. Alec McDonald, next man to be booked. A late challenge in Gordon Strachan. Well, referee McLeish clearly making up his mind that he will not allow physical stuff to develop without taking action. Alec McDonald, the second player in a couple of minutes to be booked for Hearts. Stuart McLaren was the first. Strachan coming deep to take the free kick. Hustled out of it by Bone and Robertson. Good tackle from McLeish, but here's Bowman. That's a great pass to Robertson. And that's a splendid tackle also from Willie Miller. Well, this is raw meat football, to say the least. And now Simpson will be in trouble. He certainly was beginning to lose the place a bit. He was getting a bit excited. Despite the rueful smile, he'll be booked for the tackle on Walter Kidd. tackle by Willie Miller, which put him in that position. Simpson is booked, and now John Robertson is trying to recover to get back in the action. Hart subs have returned to the dugout. Jordan's free kick. Good header down towards Bowman. Tackle from Willie Miller. Chance now for Roddy McDonald, and the spin of the ball beat him. The shot from Donald Park caught the leg of an Aberdeen defender, but top spin of the ball, and that's why Roddy McDonald couldn't get on the end of it. And Billy Stark goes off, and the replacement, rather surprisingly perhaps, is Willie Faulkner. So that means a striker is on in place of Billy Stark, a midfield player. Now McDonald. Cooper challenging. Robertson getting there, Leighton just beat him to it. Kidd turning it out for an Aberdeen throw. Leighton did well in that dive out to meet John Robertson. And Mopey seeks out one of the front men. Faulkner got the touch. Here's McGee, back to Faulkner. Jordan's with him, and that'll be a free kick. Jordan was being outpaced by young Willie Faulkner. Good link up between Faulkner and McGee, and another golden opportunity for Aberdeen. But before the free kick is taken, there'll be the substitution of Willie Johnston for Stuart McLaren. McLaren has battled in midfield. Now Willie Johnston coming on to add his talents to the Hearts attack. Now is this wall back 10 yards? The referee seems satisfied. Here's Weir. Oh! You won't see them better than that.
Neither will you. So Hearts' first league combination who did so well at Morton, half of a pair currently tipped for the St Mirren job. And Mike's first task is to analyse the incident which so upset Ferguson, privately of course. Stuart McLaren's tackle on Willie Miller. Mike, we saw the one which he got booked for, but this was the earlier tackle.
Oh, yeah. You see it now, Willie Miller's played the ball away long before Stuart McLaren's come in. And really that's a disgraceful tackle. How the referee failed to recognise that, you can see where he is. He's ideally placed, and God help us if the referee fails to recognise that.
Very, very few changes.